We are live.
Yeah, we're live, guys.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Girls Got Games Season 2.
Still having technical difficulties, but that's okay.
You know
I
what?
hear
myself,
I think
but you
we're
know
gonna
what?
make it a
If
tradition.
you guys can hear
Technical
me, that's all that really
I
matters.
You
think
can take
we
your headphones
perform
off.
best when we're
Under pressure.
challenged with
Yeah. Like
being at a
athletes.
disadvantage.
I can tell my gain is really high.
It is what it is.
I don't think it is. You mind
No.
talking?
Hello.
I think you're good.
This is Ella. Okay, why don't we just
Ella, I
get right into
I
it?
can hear you. Oh, my sound was down. That's why I couldn't hear myself.
We've all made that mistake
Oh.
before. It's fine.
All right.
Oh.
Look
Yay.
at that.
Okay, welcome back to Girls Got Games Season 2. We don't have any fun music yet, but
That's
look
coming.
forward to that. Yeah. So we have 4 of the 5 of us here today. My name's Ella.
I'm Emma.
I'm Natasha. I can hear myself now.
I'm Kennedy.
When things work,
And
it's
we're
amazing.
missing Elizabeth, who is unfortunately asleep because she had a little mishap last night. But that's okay.
Yeah,
So-
she's okay. Just
Yeah, we're good.
She's okay. We're
She's
not
okay.
like she's not like dying or anything. We're
Yeah.
just she's just not here.
You know, you want to come to Girls Got Game energized and ready to
Speak.
spit some facts.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially after the long summer we've all had.
That transition.
Yeah, I know, right? We're doing good this year. Okay, so I think it's important that, first of all, we touch on the fact that this summer was our longest summer that we've ever had. You know, we're just coming out of high school, and where summer was 2 months, where, you know what, you get a job, like, that's cool. But this
Work
year...
like part-time, whatever.
Yeah, this year we're going all in because we had a 4-month summer. So that meant that we had a lot of time to do some good, to focus on ourselves, focus on women in sport, and just get a lot done. So, what did everyone do this summer?
What did I do? Well, if we're going to touch on sports,
Yes, sport related.
this was my last summer playing soccer.
Oh.
Because I'm
sad.
now,
No.
I mean, I could join like a women's league, but that's a next summer issue, you know?
That's a later thing.
Exactly. So this was my last summer, which was very sad. But so I've played with this league for 2 years now. So this was my second season with them, and I've had the same coach. And it was funny because both years our season went basically exactly the same. So last year and this year we ended up making it to the semifinals, and then we made it to the finals. And in the final game, it was like really close until the last 2 minutes, and then our coach starts yelling at the ref and gets a yellow card.
Oh,
So he's
wow.
not allowed to coach us anymore.
My lacrosse
Which is
coach
not
did that
good.
a couple times.
Not fun.
Like, he was still allowed to coach, but, like, he
Yeah.
yelled at the ref a lot.
Oh.
It's a good time.
Yikes. No, he got a full on like card and like was not allowed to come on the field for shootouts, which was not so fun. So it went into shootouts, and we ended up winning in shootouts, thank God. But yeah, it was really fun. So it was a good way to end my soccer career, which is so sad to think about, but
yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What did you get up to?
Well, I played lacrosse this summer. I aged out last year of U19, even though I'm not even 19 yet, so
Love how that works.
not allowed to play because I turned 19 this year.
Oh, is it the year? It goes by year?
The year, yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So, yeah, it was actually the first year that Hamilton had a senior lacrosse team because literally 9 people from my U19 team aged out. So, yeah, we made a senior team, and we came in 3rd in provincials, which is pretty good for a
For your first
year
yeah.
team. And
Yeah.
also considering we lost every game throughout the season, with the exception of, like, the first 2, I think. And then, like, every game after that we lost. So, yeah, we won bronze, and yours truly scored 2 goals in the final.
All right.
Which is pretty sick. So, yeah.
That's really cool that they like saw a demand for the senior team and then they went
Yeah.
with it, because a lot of the times they're like, oh, like
And it was a
It's okay.
short season. Like, it ended in June. And usually we'd go to August, but you know, it's good to still be able to like play once a week and still like, you know, make money.
yeah.
And,
That's cool.
like, have it not really change availability much.
Sports related. My sister's friend made a beach volleyball indoor team, and she needed like a couple more people, so I've been playing that. We're actually like keeping it going throughout the year, so I missed it. I missed it a lot. Like first year, like I used to play like in volleyball, so first year I was kind of like, I'm like missing that volleyball, because we played like soccer second semester. So that was like my little sports fix. But then in the summer I was like, no, like I need to do something. So I was really happy when she reached out. It's really fun. Like we're not playing like super competitively. Like it's just strictly like to have a good time and to like meet new people. So
I didn't know
that was
you
great.
were a big volleyball person, because
Yeah.
a couple of us did volleyball, I guess at the time, like at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Sam told me,
I mean, we were
just
pretty
think I
bad,
didn't
but-
know you guys fully yet,
Intramurals,
but
what a time. That was so fun.
yeah.
Intramurals, I think, are a really good way to get everyone into sport because you don't really feel any like
Pressure. to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Or
it's,
free.
Yeah,
Free.
exactly.
It should be free. It is
I
free
agree.
at Ryerson.
I think like
Not all sports are.
yeah.
Good point. Good
Hockey,
point.
hockey
It's not.
definitely isn't.
The smaller
Hockey's
ones are.
not.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like hockey's a little bit harder though because you actually have to like rent the ice, right?
And you,
So-
you can't play
yeah.
if you don't have equipment and like all that, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
makes
that's
it a little
hard
harder.
about
yeah, they have to
sports with a lot
pay
of
like they have to
equipment.
pay for jerseys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
but I think Ryerson does a really good job at like making sure that everyone feels very included in the environment so that they have the ability to like join into sports if they want. You know, like even if you didn't have your own team, you could randomly like be put into a team, which I think is really good.
honestly, like even though hockey's not free compared to like if you were to play hockey outside of school, it's still like relatively cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I paid like just over $100 last year, which sounds expensive, but like
It's not.
compared to like
To
the
play in a good league.
$450
Yeah.
I pay to play on a strictly tournament team
Mhm.
where I play in like 5 tournaments in like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. So
Mm-hmm. What'd you get up to, Natasha?
So in terms of my summer, I had 3 jobs. So
oh
I tried to make it to the gym, but you know
It
that's
happens.
not really sport to me. That's more like going because I know I
being
need
healthy.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and like that's
I
what
was gonna
sport
do
is
that,
to me too.
and I
Like
I just
keeping
didn't.
Yeah.
keeping healthy is like definitely part of my sport life, right? Because you want to
Yeah.
keep your body like good to go, and that was definitely one of my goals this summer was to like keep my fitness level up, even though I wasn't fencing over the summer, because I knew that coming back to Ryerson, I didn't want to be really rusty. So in the last week of August, right before school started, I came out east here and went to Kingston to participate in the Royal Military College's high performance fencing camp. And
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
yeah, it's a lot of words. I know the coaches there. He was the national team weapons leader, which probably doesn't mean anything to anyone else here. But he was like a really important role model to me, and he's the coach at RMC. And you know, it's military. It's really interesting to get thrown into this environment where everyone, you know, a requirement of going to school is being physically fit.
Yeah.
So I come back from barely making it to the gym over the summer to being surrounded by a bunch of people who do push-ups for fun. So
Yeah.
that was a good kick in the butt
Yeah.
for me, and really showed me like, you know, last time I went to this camp, it was a lot about the mental side of sport, which was really important to me, especially coming back into Ryerson. But for me, it was this time a lot of looking at the people in the military and how dedicated they are to the team. I think I definitely took some inspiration there because they have a varsity fencing team and we have a varsity fencing team here, and I wanted to come back to Ryerson and have that same mindset and that same dedication that I saw with the RMC fencers toward
Yeah.
their team, and like the respect towards their coaches and like being on time, trying your hardest. And definitely want to bring some of that to the other fencers at Ryerson.
But
Cool.
you went back to, like, you went home over the summer.
Yeah, I
back to
did.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Do you, I mean, every time I go to BC, all I do is hike. And I would count that
Oh.
as physical activity, you know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. No, you're definitely right. I forgot about that. There's
Does it
could you?
so often that it's just not even a thing.
well, in BC, it's like it's hard. You know, everywhere
Yeah.
you look, there's mountains, and it's hard not to be like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
could just do
For
a
sure.
20-minute drive and hike.
Go for a hike. Yeah, I've never been
So-
there before, but like I feel like that's all I do. If I
I
was
think
there.
BC should be on everyone's bucket list for
It's-
sure.
I've wanted to go to Vancouver literally like my whole life.
Exactly. Like
It looks so nice. And
it has
I'm just broke.
so many things. Oh, but there's also another thing that I wanted to touch on. Okay. Women in sport related. Spin class. Has anyone here ever gone to spin class?
Yes.
Is that like on the bikes?
Yeah.
I haven't. I
I
really
think I
want
did
to,
that.
but
I did that
haven't.
once last year with Camilla.
Yeah.
It's so freaking hard.
was
Sorry,
gonna
I don't know
say,
if you know.
It's very hard. No, like I
so
would
hard.
I would swear. I was swearing during the class too. So I have a couple points on this. I don't know if this is in our rundown or whatever,
Go
but
for it. Why
girl,
not?
this needs to be talked about. So over the summer, I was like, I have 2 weeks until I go on this girl vacation, and I need to look good, right? Okay, so very girl point. I think a lot of girls can relate to this. So I'm like, I need to get in shape, and going to the gym just isn't doing that for me. So I found this free 2-week pass to sign
Class
up.
pass?
Yeah. So okay,
You actually did it?
it's an unlimited pass for 2
You actually
weeks.
did it.
Yeah, no, because I always see it and I'm like, that sounds so
They
cool,
have
but
them-
like I don't care that much. You
Yeah.
know? But it was actually
Oh
good.
no, we were in dire needs
Oh.
here. So I signed
weekend
up
was
for this
approaching.
2-week pass, and I'm like scared to the bone because all I'm thinking is, you know that commercial, or it's in a movie where
Oh.
the instructor walks in, rips off his shirt, and goes, "Okay, let's go, ladies!" And then the lights go off, and the disco ball comes
And that's
on.
exactly what it's
and it's
like.
like intense, and everyone's like, "Do, do, 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 do." And so I'm like, I'm gonna get thrown in here like a wet fish, you know, like I have no idea what I'm doing. I show up, and it's like this super slick, clean studio, and they're like, "Hi, how are you today? Would you like some cucumber water?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, where am I?" So then I try it, and oh my God, I was sweating through every single pore of my body and doing nothing right. Like all you had to do is show up and try. So I showed up 7 a.m. Like
Oh my god.
beginning of the day. Why would anyone wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning in the summer? Why?
I think it's addicting. You know,
It
like you know those people
is.
that go to Soul Cycle like 5 times a week.
Oh yeah,
Like it has to
was
be.
addicting.
That's what I mean. Like I've heard like people who go to the gym like 5 times a week. They're like, yeah, once you go like that many times a week, once you just want to keep doing it. I'm like, I can't motivate myself to go like twice.
Well,
No, it's
I
definitely-
think they feel the same way that we feel about soccer, like about sports. Like when I play sports, I don't see it as exercise. Like when I stop playing sports,
True.
all of a sudden I'm like, why am I getting tired walking up the stairs? Because I never
True.
looked at it as I was actually like getting my heart rate up. Like
Yeah.
it was fun.
I think
Whereas
about
I
that,
think
like-
going to the gym is fun for them. Like it's fun for
Yeah,
certain people.
that's true.
And they don't see the same enjoyment in playing like
That's
sports as a way to get their exercise. So it's just I think 2 totally different ways of staying
Looking at
fit
it.
and
Yeah.
like trying things. But yeah, I personally like the sports aspect.
Since
of it.
I stopped playing hockey like super competitively, like I did when I was in high school, and like before that, I literally get gassed like walking down the street, and I'm like,
you
running to
gas
classes
going
to
down
make
the
it
street.
for like 9 a.m. So I'm like, whoa.
I know, I run like 100 meters, and I'm like,
And the worst is when you have to run from the SLC to the RCC, and all
Oh.
of Kerr Hall is like 60 degrees, like this room right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And you have
Or-
6 layers on because it's cold
In
inside.
the winter, and you're like,
Yeah.
as you're walking, you're slowly taking off pieces of clothing. You're like, hey, scarf
Yeah.
needs to go.
Like getting on the
Okay,
subway.
jacket.
jackets
Yeah.
on.
The
my
subway
God,
ride
yeah.
is a sauna. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how you
that's
stroll.
true.
You know?
That's true.
Commuters.
But
commuter life.
with
Sucks.
spin class, when you show up, like it was really interesting for me because you know what, ladies, we're in sport media. We don't see anything the same way anymore.
Oh my god.
Accurate.
Right?
That needs to be a whole different segment.
Accurate.
Like I
Totally.
literally
We
would
need to
stop
dedicate
a
an
broadcast
entire
and be
show
like,
to
Mom,
that.
Dad, what do you think about the way the name keys came up? And they'd be like, what the heck are you asking? I'm
Yeah,
like,
no
do
one
you
looks
like
at
them?
that.
Do you not like them? Like, are they placed in the right spot? And they're kind of looking at me like, my dad's like, watch the game, we're missing stuff. But that's
I was
a whole
talking about
great point.
like to my friend how like I was watching a broadcast and it was like of an OHL game, right? So it's kind of bad because it's like it's all volunteers, right? So
Yeah.
like, you know, they're trying whatever, but yeah, it's like not professional or anything. So I'm talking to my friend and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, the broadcast is like really bad. And she's like, really? I'm like, you probably wouldn't notice it. Like you'd probably think it's fine, but like I do.
I also tried looking at it in the sense like, how does this appeal to different types of people? Like when I walked in there, I was like, okay, this appealed to me because it was free. Right? Like I wouldn't have done it if I had to pay. And then I kind of looked at the atmosphere. I was like, okay, I come in and I'm comfortable in a sport atmosphere. I'm fine going into the gym most of the time. Like I'm fine with that kind of thing. What other people may not be fine with is that I walked into the change room and then you get onto your bike, like everyone's adjusting your bike, warming up. Everyone in there was like a size 0. And so I'm like, oh my God, like I know I'm not fat, but I was definitely on the larger side compared to everyone in there. And that was the 7 a.m. class. So these are like the
intense people.
eager people who know exactly what they're
So
doing.
these people definitely do it. Like they definitely pay for it.
Of course, no, this was my first mistake. Yeah, you know that they've got the funds for it because they're wearing all Lulu, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And, okay, so I was like, fine. I go to a 10 a.m. class. So the people that are like, you know what, let's go to a spin class today.
Yeah.
And the body types were so different. There were 40-year-old men.
Mm-hmm.
There were women that you could tell were like there to work on their fitness. So there was a huge variety of people, and I was like, this is so cool because there's so many types of people in here for so many different reasons, and everyone feels for some reason welcome here to improve upon their fitness and their goals and whatever. And I think one of the things that spin class as like an idea, like a brand, like I think if you go to a lot of different spin companies, they all have kind of the same goals. Like they all try and be super hyped, super fun, and super welcoming to everyone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
spinning is something that like
Can be
basically
intimidating.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
intimidating, but basically anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like I saw all shapes and sizes, all types of ages, whatever, skill levels, whatever. Like even if you couldn't keep up with the instructor, he was still or she was still super encouraging. So I think spin class is something that's definitely like even here in Toronto I can see it like up on the going up in terms of popularity because it
And price.
appeals
No,
I really
and
wanna
price
try
true,
it.
yeah.
I've always,
know-
I've always wanted to try it, but
I know Ryerson has the classes.
yeah.
Like last year, they have them at the rack, but like last year I did one like once, and I want to go again, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I just never
know
had
what?
time. But like now I have a 3-hour break between my classes on Fridays,
not?
so
There we go.
if they're still on Fridays,
I think
then
we
I'm
should do a
sweaty.
little
Woo.
Girls Got Game field trip and,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
come
I'm
back
down.
and report and say, you know what, this is what spin class is doing for women in sport.
That would actually be kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
just trying out different workout places in Toronto, because especially like you were saying in Toronto, not just spin is getting like
Oh my god, I
popularity,
really
but
want to try
everything.
the Zumba.
Oh,
Zumba?
heck
like
yeah.
the dancing.
I did that
athletic-
once
like-
when I was like in high school.
athletics.
When I
Yeah.
did like gym or whatever, or
Yeah.
fitness or whatever it was, my teacher would always bring in like a Zumba instructor, and we did it.
To be honest, like
It was pretty fun.
I'm not
Zumba's
a
one of
great
those things
dancer,
I've
but I
done.
think I'd have
no,
so much
it's
fun.
fun.
Like,
It's
it's
fun.
like-
Yeah, it's just not my favorite thing, which is weird because I danced my whole life,
Yeah.
but I don't like Zumba.
I feel
I don't
like
know.
in
I can't
Zumba,
dance to
things.
save my life, but
I'm
it's so
almost
fun.
embarrassing myself. Like
Yeah.
when
Well,
I'm
that's the
on a
whole
spin
point,
class
right?
bike, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely doing this wrong, but I don't care. But like in Zumba class, I'm really taking it to heart. I'm like, man, if I was on a dance floor
I
right
want to
now,
look like Shakira.
yeah,
right?
exactly. My hips don't lie. Like they don't move that way. They tell the truth. So yeah, spin class, guys.
Let's
Try
do
it
it.
out.
That's the way to go.
Men or women, like it was definitely woman dominated, but the guys in there were definitely trying.
I remember
Also,
when I went, it was like the instructor was male, and like he was really intense, but
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he was nice. He was just like, go faster, and I was like, I can't. My legs are falling off. I'm going as fast as I can.
All right. Well,
Fun times.
we've given a little background of our summer. That was actually kind
Yeah.
of cool. I like that
Oh,
little
yeah.
wrap up. But what about what has happened in the past 4 months? What we're gonna consider our summer. So, May to August.
Bianca
What
Andreescu.
happened? Yes, Bianca happened. Yes, it did. Yes, she did.
She's a queen.
Did you guys watch it live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in
Okay,
line
good.
for the Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland, and I was streaming it on my phone.
Aw, that's dedication though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, like I knew that she was playing, and like I told my friend, like there's like free Wi-Fi in the park and everything. I told my friend, I'm like, yo, like this is happening.
I'm
like
watching
I
it."
have to watch it.
And you should
And she's
too.
like, well, what if we're on a ride? I'm like, well, you know what? There's also lineups.
Yeah.
So
We'll watch it as we're going
That
down
line
the
is long
Leviathan.
enough that you can probably got through the whole match by the time you got
Yeah.
on the ride.
yeah,
Oh
well, we
my
had a
God.
fast lane pass, so
Oh,
it was
okay,
like
that's better.
kind of
So what do you guys think?
yeah.
I
That was
think
crazy.
one
Yeah,
of the reasons,
literally.
like obviously it got super huge because like she's Canadian.
Yeah.
All of Canada was standing
Yeah.
behind her. But if you look at it from the other side, all of America was standing behind Serena Williams.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons why this was made such a big deal is because she was going up against Serena Williams. And
Yeah.
I was actually in New York, like right across the street from the tennis arena.
Oh, that's
Because
cool.
I went to a baseball game there, and not the Yankees, unfortunately, the Mets.
Good. Don't go see the Yankees.
And I think one of the reasons why this whole event got so big was because people stood behind their player, and like that's normal for tennis, right? But people are religious about Serena Williams,
Yeah.
and people are
Did you see all
very.
the celebrities that were there, like, for her?
Yeah,
It
like
was
the
crazy.
Duchess of Sussex
They're
was there.
like
I'm like,
BFFs, though. That makes that, yeah.
I know,
was
but
like, damn.
still, like that's whack.
Cute.
I was on the train in New York, and one of Serena's matches was still going on, and everyone on the train was talking about it. You could definitely like there were baseball people on the train, and there were tennis people on the train, and you could 100% tell who came from baseball and who came from tennis, because the baseball people were half drunk, and the tennis people were of course wearing like, you know what,
dress up.
It was
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious to see the sweaters that were like tied around their shoulders like a classic tennis person, but a lot of the workers.
Tennis is such a fashion statement.
Oh my
I
god,
love it, yeah.
the hats,
Yeah.
the sunglasses, like
The visors.
who was it? Bianca Andreescu's mom.
Oh yeah, she
Excuse me?
With like the dog in her lap, just like
Oh
sitting
my
there
god,
petting
I
it.
loved that.
Coco
that was
Andreescu.
the reason I watched. But the people on the train were arguing. There was this. It was someone who had worked there, like worked in one of like the stands or something, and someone who like had like this special pass or something, and it was like this large black man and then this little prim proper white woman, and they were arguing on the train, and they were saying like, oh, what's Serena's match at, and like a bunch of people like chimed in, and everyone was like, oh, I think she's gonna win. No, she's not. Did she win the last set? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. Everyone was so passionate about it, and I think when you get to like the later stages of a game, when you have two people like the rising star Bianca Andreescu and like the favorite of the competition, Serena Williams, like that just made such a huge attention grab for everyone.
Yeah.
And it was, I think whether Bianca Andreescu had won or Serena Williams had won, I don't know which one would have been a bigger deal, you know?
Yeah. Oh, personally going into it, I would have been, I think, fine if Serena had won, because I really like her.
I was honestly expecting
But,
Serena to win.
yeah.
Like that sounds horrible. Like
No,
obviously
yeah.
I was wanting
I
Bianca
knew
to.
Bianca had it in her, because like this girl
Oh,
is like
for sure.
fierce and
For
didn't
sure.
let anything
And she's on
shake
a
her.
run.
You can
So,
see
like,
that focus in her
yeah,
eyes.
so
She's on a run.
I wasn't shocked when she won. And obviously, yes, I was leading towards her. She's Canadian. Like, I really like her as well. Like, she seems like such a solid person. But I wouldn't have been super sad if Serena had won either. Also, I don't think that would have been the end of Bianca. Like,
Oh, no,
Oh,
definitely,
definitely
not.
like, I wasn't worried about her just disappearing and,
Well,
like,
even,
not
like,
being back.
Yesterday, at the China Open, Bianca had won, I think it was 17 matches in a row. And then just yesterday, I
lost
think,
in the
2 days
quarters.
ago, October 6th, she lost in the quarterfinals to Naomi Osaka. I hope
Yeah.
I'm saying that right.
I think the
But
fact...
she's crazy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that she's lost, like, is completely irrelevant, you know, like, because she still won so many matches in a row. She still proved that, like, it wasn't just a one-time thing, you know. She is a powerhouse.
She was also such an underdog going into it. So obviously there's that,
Totally.
like, underdog story of, like, will the youngster beat the...
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
they
and she's,
literally
like-
kept saying Serena had won her first title or whatever before
Bianca
even,
was
like,
born.
they kept emphasizing that point to prove, like, Serena's, like,
Well,
a
yeah,
pro in
she's
it and has
young.
been there for a while. Yeah. I'm like, but
Yeah.
she could still do it.
Yeah.
And I
I
think-
think sorry.
I think she felt that too. Like,
Oh,
she
for
definitely
sure.
knew, because she was playing on Serena's home turf.
Yeah.
So she felt that.
Well,
And
she
then,
said the biggest thing was the crowd, trying to overcome the crowd.
Yeah, like,
Which
you can
means,
see her, like,
'cause at that
plugging her
point, you know
ears,
you're playing
too.
Serena Williams. I think she mentally prepared herself to play
Oh,
Serena
definitely.
Williams.
Oh, 100%.
So that
You
was
have
fine. I
to.
just don't think she was prepared for the crowd and, like, dealing with that. So when she said that, I was like, that makes complete sense. That
I
was, like, the
think-
thing that you needed to be like,
And she was literally like on the court. There was video for like plugging her
Plugging her
ears,
ears,
trying to
yeah.
get back in focus. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
but
Which is unusual for tennis, also.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
usually they're always
Yeah.
so zoned in. They
they
don't
were
want
respectful.
to.
Yeah.
They stopped as soon as the thing, but, like,
For
the
sure.
thing
Yeah.
started.
Like
but
in between.
in between, that
So
it got
loud.
so loud.
We gotta talk about though. When she did win and she was having that interview,
Oh my god.
Oh.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
apologized.
She's like, I'm sorry, everyone here. For...
And
Coming
all
out to see
wanted
Serena,
Serena
and then
to
I
win.
won, and blah, blah, blah. No!
that made me so mad. I'm
I
like,
know.
okay, we get that you're younger, we get that you're nervous in front of this
She's
entire
Canadian.
crowd. You're not
Yeah,
used to this.
I thought it was kind of characteristic of her
Yeah.
being like the young girl that like is she's looked up to
Exactly.
Serena her whole
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
And she's Canadian, so of course she's gonna apologize. But at the same time, yeah, it frustrated me because like you won that fair and square, like you
You shouldn't
deserved
have to
that
apologize.
win.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, like, if she had been interviewed right after, like, on the court, instead of, you know, like, with
20
Serena
minutes
Williams
later.
standing by her side holding
Yeah.
the trophy, like, in front of this huge press crowd, she would not have said sorry. She would have been like, that was
Hell
the
yeah, I did
best
that.
match I've ever
Yeah.
done. Like,
Yeah.
you know? And I just don't know. Like, it really made me mad, because I'm like, you know, I've definitely wanted to apologize sometimes if I've beaten someone.
Yeah.
Like, one
It
time
also depends how you beat them.
yeah,
Like,
why did she have
I
to
think that was a pretty fair game,
apologize?
pretty,
It
like, fair
was.
fight. Like,
Very
it wasn't
fair.
like Bianca went out and destroyed Serena, was kind of like, oh, like I
Like,
didn't
she
want
was.
to do that.
She was, and then
she
Serena
was,
came
but then Serena
back,
came back
right?
and just proved that, like, no, this isn't going to be easy. I got so nervous, by the way, at that point. I'm like, oh, no,
Yeah.
she's coming back. But yeah, like I know for volleyball, those, like, when you make a bump and it just flips over the net and you get the point, you're kind of like,
kind of a
that
cheap
was kind of a
point,
cheap
yeah.
point. Like, there's
Yeah.
always those kind of ones. And I think there were a couple of those, but for both ends. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
she still, she
And it
still
also
shouldn't have
wasn't.
apologized.
It wasn't like earlier in the year where Bianca, I mean, won
Because
almost
Serena
by
got
default.
hurt.
She got hurt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like she full on won this match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
bringing
square.
up that point too, I think they just have a really good history together. They
Yeah.
were both, like, super respectful to each other. Like, I think it was honestly, like, just also great television. Like, it was
Yeah,
just so
sure.
Yeah.
inspiring to watch, and like I was
100%.
like, this is beautiful. Like,
And it was
watching
a
this
big
is
deal
beautiful.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Like I would
brought
say
so
Bianca was the
many
talk of the
views.
summer. Right.
Oh,
100%.
Would you say?
Like, she got, but then after she said sorry, and then she had another interview, she was like, well, I'm still waiting for Drake.
Oh
To
yeah.
congratulate
And then he
you.
messaged her.
Oh, yeah, and then she flew on
He's
his
like, I've
private
been liking
jet.
every post. I thought you'd notice, but no.
Yeah.
She's
And then
so
the-
young.
and then
That's
the
like
reporters-
us. How old is she? She's 19.
Yeah, she's 19.
Yeah.
That's like I would want a message from Drake, like, just to be like
I don't know if I'd be
Justin
expecting
Trudeau
it,
messaged
but-
her, like, and I guess that's, like, also, like, pretty cool
Yeah.
too, like, you know, the prime minister, but
Yeah,
at
and
the
she
same
got-
time, at her age, think about who she's really thinking about, like, celebrities, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Reporters were pressing her because she left him on scene because she didn't know what to
On
respond.
scene.
They're like, he has the scene message. She's like, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Aw, I wouldn't either.
I know,
It's
honestly.
fine. But
I
yeah,
would
that's
screenshot it
crazy.
and post it
I love
everywhere.
how she like pulled out her phone in the middle of an interview just to read it.
Yeah.
She's like, he messaged me.
I need to give them the exact words
Yeah.
that he said.
She's like, he was like, wait, let me read it.
Oh yeah,
So
I love
yeah.
watching interviews with her because it just
She's
shows
so
like
cute.
I think she could be one of our friends. Like, it's just like
Yeah,
sometimes,
like,
she's
she's-
so relatable. It's awesome.
Which I
'cause,
think
like-
is impressive too, the fact that she can go out there and like dominate the court, but at the same time I find she's very chill and relaxed
Yeah.
and just kind of like, I'm just going out there. I'm sure tennis comes naturally to her in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So she's not, I mean, yes,
It
she's
kinda
trying hard.
reminds you-
I don't want to come off
No,
that
yeah,
way,
yeah.
but right? Like
she has something in her
she knows
that's
what she's
tennis
doing.
related. Yeah.
It kind of reminds you like she's still a person, you know? Like she still has so
Totally.
much personality in her, and like she's not like gets behind a mic and she's like reserved. This is what
Yeah.
happened. That's
Yeah.
it. You know, like she
Kawhi
can.
Leonard.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like she still has some personality
Yeah.
in her, and she's not afraid to show it, right?
Yeah. So I would say personally, if I had to like rank the 3 biggest sports moments, I'll say female sports moments. Correct me if you think I'm missing something, but I would say Bianca, the Women's World Cup,
Yeah, absolutely.
and Kaylee Humphries leaving Canada.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is key.
huge.
But let's talk about the World Cup first, 'cause
Tea.
it's a bigger
Okay,
one.
yeah. I have a point for World Cup, but that'll
Yes.
come later. Ella, you take this one.
Okay. Did you guys get to watch any of the World Cup?
I watched a
'Cause I
couple
was-
matches. No,
any
I
of
watched a
it.
couple matches.
I was mad because I was in Canada for the first like 2 weeks maybe of the World Cup or something like that. I can't remember when it started exactly, but and then for the second 2 weeks, basically, which is like the important part of it, is when I went to Italy to visit my family. And you think, oh, you're in Italy, like that's where soccer's huge. You think I would be able to find it somewhere, but no, I could not find it anywhere. Like we went out
That's
looking for
weird.
like restaurants and bars that we could watch it in and
'Cause I
stuff.
think there's so
And
That's
many
really
men's
weird.
leagues
Yeah.
in Europe
Yeah.
Blah,
that it does
blah.
dominate.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Go men.
So I was disappointed because I didn't really get to watch
No,
much.
it's kind of unfair. Like,
No,
the-
it's unfair.
The
It's unfair.
biggest women's soccer like.
Yeah, you would
tournament
think if they're going
ever.
to show any women's soccer, it would be that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think? Okay, so just to summarize, the U.S. played the Netherlands and won, I believe it was 2-0. What did you think of Megan and her her kind of cocky celebration, as some put it. Some people were like, you know what, same as the Bianca story, like you don't have to apologize for celebrating scoring, right?
Well,
What did you guys think of that whole discussion?
if you look at the way that the men celebrate, how are you going to start criticizing her celebration? I think a lot of people almost look at her celebration also as like empowering.
I think the problem, yes, first of all, I do agree with that for sure.
Was this
Yeah.
celebration in the blowout win?
Yes, that's what I was
Okay,
going to add.
that's-
I think the problem people had with it is that they were celebrating like it was
It was like an
important
11
goal, but it
nothing
was like,
goal
yeah,
or something.
They were winning by like 10 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like at that point, like you're playing, that's the problem with the World Cup. There's always like those 5 or 6 countries that just dominate because
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
have more like, what's the word I'm
Background
looking for?
in this
Background
sport.
and like chance and opportunity to play. Whereas like Team Nigeria, like
Yeah.
they have
Like
no
still
chance
a
basically.
huge deal,
Yeah.
but
But it's like if you're gonna react like that against a team that is clearly not as good as you, I feel like that's just
Yeah.
kind of rubbing it in their face.
Yeah, I remember like growing up playing hockey. It's kind of like a different scenario, but like also kind of the same. My teams would stop celebrating after like 4 or
Yeah.
5 goals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like they also stop putting goals on the scoreboard after like
Yeah.
5.
Wow,
so
really?
they keep it within it.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but like some games I played,
No, but
they
yeah, that was
keep
the
it.
difference between like house league when I played
Yeah.
house league soccer and then rep soccer.
Yeah.
House league soccer, they would just stop counting the scores after. a
Yeah, like
certain
they kept counting it like
point.
it was on the game
Yeah,
sheet,
but it
but like they
wasn't-
wouldn't put
yeah.
it on the scoreboard. So say it was like 5-0,
Interesting.
and we were winning. Like the score said 5-0, and say
Yeah.
we were actually winning like 8-0.
Yeah.
Say,
But then
so,
when I
like,
went to rep, like it was
they
our coaches being like,
Yeah,
"Whoa, guys,
like, if
they-
like
if
slow
they
down."
scored 1 goal, they'd put their 1 up, and then they'd put a 6 up for us. So it stayed
Yeah.
within like 5,
Yeah.
but
Interesting.
yeah.
yeah, it was
think-
always.
Well, yeah, like you just even like in terms of the other team, looking at that scoreboard and seeing such a big difference,
It sucks.
It sucks. Like,
Yeah.
Right?
We've all
Like,
been there. It
yeah, it
sucks.
sucks.
But
you're
this is
also, like-
professional soccer.
yeah,
right?
you're at
Oh,
a
I know.
high
They have
level.
to deal. Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. They definitely have dealt with it before, so you would think that like it wouldn't bother them, but they are people, and I think that it could have just been saved for a more
Like a-
deserving game.
like
Or not
a-
deserving
like in
game,
the
but, like,
final?
Yeah, no,
like
yeah.
a more
Yeah, that makes
Can
sense.
we just also say one thing? They're American. Like, do you know
way
what
you
I
said
mean?
Yeah.
I've fenced. I know that fencing is an individual sport, so that's very different. But I've definitely fenced in the U.S. so many times where I'm losing and they're still screaming their heads off. And, like, honestly, go right ahead. Like, go scream your head off.
Yeah.
That's just going to make me want to catch up or
Fight
beat
harder.
you more,
Yeah.
you know? So I think... Like it's
That's
just
true. It
it's
depends on
so
their mindset.
it's part of their culture to like
Yeah, they're
celebrate
very, very proud.
yeah,
very proud
celebrate their
people.
achievement no
Yeah.
matter what. Like it doesn't matter if you're crying in the corner. They're still gonna celebrate their win because
They did that.
part of it is that they deserve
Yeah,
it.
I see
They've
that. I
worked
can see
so
that to a
hard to
certain
get
extent.
there.
Yeah.
Like it, I just like looked into this, and it says it was in the opening round as well.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's another, like if it was in like a quarterfinal or a semifinal or something, like maybe it could be
Yeah.
like you
Better
know
than
wouldn't be as bad,
first
but like
round,
it's in
yeah.
the opening round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're winning 13-0
Yeah. And you know
and
that
you
when
celebrate excess like a lot on like an 11th goal, it's like you know you're winning the game at that
Yeah.
point. So like
and you know
just
that when,
kind of
when FIFA did
chill.
the groupings, whoever got put with the US in that group, just they were like, damn, like we just got unlucky, right?
Yeah.
Because clearly, like they're gonna
They're the
dominate,
favorite,
right?
yeah.
But I still think that was very exciting. And
Oh,
yeah,
for
like you
sure.
said, they deserve it. They're
Yeah.
amazing
Oh,
athletes.
Like they've
definitely.
worked so hard to get there,
Yeah.
and
Oh, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
denying that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I just think like there comes a point where it's like you know you're gonna win a game. The other team's obviously like down
the same
and
level
not
as you,
not
yeah.
at the same level as you. And I think you know first couple goals absolutely celebrate as much as you want, but I think once it
Well, yeah,
gets
you can't
to
go in being like, I know we're gonna win. Like,
Yeah,
you should never
exactly.
Go into a game
Like,
like that.
exactly.
But after a certain point,
I
I
think
agree.
once you get to a certain point, it's like I remember I was playing a game one time against like a like low team, and like we ended up beating them 12-0, and my coach told us not to like to stop scoring
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
And we scored 6 goals accidentally.
Aw.
So like and it like we felt bad, but we're like, you know, like there's only so much you can do without shooting,
you
right?
also don't
Like,
want to make it seem like
like you're going easy on them.
You're going
Exactly.
easy on
Yeah,
them.
like-
Yes. I know it is a hard fine line. Like I think we've all been on both ends
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
And
And like you don't
obviously-
want to let up and like let them come back, right?
Yeah.
So like my coach is like just like control the puck,
Yeah.
like pass around, whatever. He's like, if you have to shoot. If
Yeah.
not, whatever. And like
Yeah, exactly.
we
Just do
ended up
whatever you could do
accidentally
in that
scoring
sport
6 goals, and
to
it's
like soccer, like just kind of keep kicking it out, like waste time a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't want to, like hockey, same thing. Just kind of control the puck.
we switched the defense and the wingers, so like the lefty and the righty
I
would
love
play
when you
left
start having
wing
fun
and
with
right
it.
wing,
Like,
and
once
then
my,
like
coach
the
put all the
wingers
subs on, and
yeah.
they're like
the
everyone gets to
wingers
play and have
moved
fun.
back and played D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me think, because we're doing the intramural soccer again, and it's like a much smaller team, so there's only three girls on our team and like 4 boys or something. But every so often we'll put like it's a line of 3 and then a goalie. So every so often we'll just put like one line of all the girls on, and you can tell that the other teams, which have been all male so far, which I'm pretty sure is not allowed in co-ed soccer, but anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, if it's co-ed
Yeah,
soccer,
I don't know about that, but so we'll put all the girls out, and you can tell, like literally
They
last
kinda
week,
let up.
one of the guys, he was like, okay, well, like don't go too hard, and that just makes me even more angry.
Yeah.
So the best part is like, because it's a very small room, so you can bounce the ball off the wall and stuff, and every so often I can like, you know, you see one of the guys coming up the wall with the ball, and I'll just go and like straight on, boom, right into the wall, and he's like not expecting it, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of regret it because they're so sweaty, but still,
Oh
like it's kind of
yeah.
nice to be like, yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go easy on us.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, because I'm tired, but like,
Sure,
you don't have
because I'm
to.
tired. Me.
Right?
Well,
Okay,
it's
but I
also
have a
'cause,
question.
Like, soccer,
Yeah,
sorry, soccer is a sport that's mainly skill based. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
It has nothing to do with
It
gender.
has no
You don't really
that
get-
physical
yeah.
aspect. So
Yeah.
it's like going easy. What does
Yeah.
that mean? You're just not gonna like try to get the ball, but then
Yeah.
you don't think I'm gonna notice that if you're like being
If I'm
really
if I'm running with the ball and you're just backing off,
yeah,
it's
like
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
or you're just running beside me.
Yeah.
No, I just had a question about the, like we talked about last year, the US WNT pay situation, I guess I can
Good
say.
point, good point.
What do you guys think is going to happen? Because they've had such a successful year, and they've certainly like proved their strength and
Yeah.
their right for equality. What do you
Yeah.
think is going to come out of that?
I think 2 things can happen.
Yeah.
I think since this has been blown up so big,
Yeah.
I think it'll get a lot of attention and there'll be a lot of promises made. But as soon as that bubble kind of deflates a little bit,
Yeah.
the attention's gonna go off of
I
them
agree.
and the promises are gonna drop. You know, like it's really sad and it's
sadly
really
think
negative.
it,
But
Did you
I
hear
honestly
though?
think that's what's gonna happen.
August, I think it was around August 30th, the U.S. Soccer Federation, they released a statement that said that they paid the women's team $34.1 million from 2009 to 2018, but the men were only paid $26.4. And to me, that just seems like strange timing to realize that you like calculated the numbers wrong, and that you're suddenly being like, "Oh, our bad. We actually paid the women more."
Yeah.
So like, stop asking for more money. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if
but-
it's true or not, but it just
Yeah.
seems like weird timing for them to come out with that information.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think at the end of the day, it's also about like their quality of life. Like the men are getting so many sponsorships,
Yeah.
all this
That's what I was
regular
gonna say. I wonder
coverage.
what that includes.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
even if it is just like that's how much money got divided between the team.
Yeah.
To her point, like I think the men are still bringing home more money because they're being
Yeah.
brought, like they're being sponsored more. They're being like
Yeah.
Yeah.
promoted more, so people are like want to watch them more. Like I think
Which I
there's a lot of
definitely think is
other
getting better.
financial aspects that need to be considered into that price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know.
But yeah, sadly to Natasha's other point, like I don't think much is gonna change because also the women have been, I mean the men's team successful too, but the women's team has been pretty successful for a while now, and
Yeah.
so like and nothing has changed from them from like then. So I don't know what. Hopefully that's my point. Hopefully like they're like, oh shit, like we could actually. Because essentially, at the end of the day, it comes to, like, we can make money off of them.
Yeah.
And they see that value.
Yeah.
And then they decide, okay, like, now let's change it from our ends.
One thing I also wanted to bring up regarding women's soccer is Megan Rapinoe won the FIFA's Best Women's Player of the Year, right? And I wrote something on this, how the same day that happened and she made that incredible speech where she was she was saying we need the people who aren't the ones affected by like serious issues, like we don't want the people that are being like affected by racism to fight for racism. We want the people that am I making sense?
Yeah.
She made that speech. If you're familiar with it, awesome. If you aren't, like please look it up.
Watch it.
It's really it was short and simple, you know? But the same day that happened, Twitter was going nuts with the fact that Kawhi Leonard's 1 year anniversary of his laugh coming out. Like, it was, like, the 1 year anniversary of this video coming out that showed, like, he was a fun guy, where he got his, like, fun guy nickname. It was the 1 year anniversary. Like, this happened a year ago, and everyone was freaking out about it. And it was bigger news than her amazing speech, which could, like, her speech wasn't just applicable to, like, women in sport. It was applicable to people being racialized, like, sexism, like,
a lot of minorities.
A lot of people tend to ignore things that make them uncomfortable. When someone comes out and says, like, literally speaks the truth, and then also something funny's happening, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch this because right now, not necessarily is a bad thing, but they're not ready to deal with everything that she said.
Or, like,
I find,
like,
they don't want to. Yeah, that's the worst thing. Like, if you're not ready yet, that's one thing. Go back and watch it when you're ready.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're not, if they don't want to, then it's like,
I find, like, majorities sometimes also tend to get, like, defensive if something goes the way they don't want it to.
Yeah. Or they listen to it and just think that she's, like, complaining. But really, she's using, like, this platform she has to make a difference. And, like, is Kawhi Leonard doing that? No.
And also,
Kawhi Leonard is laughing into a microphone.
Exactly. And everyone's thinking, like, oh, this is such a big deal. It happened a year ago. Who cares? Happened a year ago. Why are you bringing this back up?
Yeah, like, don't you think that, like, if you're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard at all, don't you think, like, his contribution to, like, the Raptors winning should be more of a story than, like, anything?
I mean, that was
or,
a
like,
huge story over the summer.
Absolutely.
But
no, it was hilarious. Like,
can we also say, while we're talking about the Raptors, that the Raptors had their celebration parade, obviously, like, amazing. Love the Raptors. But when they did their speech, it wasn't about equality, and it wasn't about racism and sexism and equal rights for everyone. Yeah. It was just about winning. And that, I would say, got more press attention than her speech. Yeah. That's also what bugs me.
And I mean, like, they had Drake, they had all of Canada behind them, right? So, like, maybe I'm just living in this big filtered bubble because I'm in Toronto. I'm receiving all the Toronto stuff, so maybe that's why I got all the Kawhi Leonard 1 year anniversary stuff. Like, maybe if I had been in the States, the Megan Rapinoe speech would have been a bigger thing on Twitter for me. But
the fact is that, like, it needs to be more global.
Totally.
Like, no matter where you are, that should be a big deal. And, like, I think, like, another thing that I've noticed, at least, is, like, when you're looking at, like, women in sport, or, like, you know, like, racialized people, or, like, minorities in sport, I guess I should say, they're always the ones that are, like, talking to make a difference. But if it's just, like, some of the, like, biggest male athletes, it's just mainly about winning.
Yeah.
Which, like, obviously it's not a bad thing. Like, you win something, you deserve it, right? Like, talk about it, but, like, I think more...
You should also use your platform, and now you're even bigger
like, talk
platform
about your championship, for sure, but, like, also bring in, like, issues, but...
Yeah, well, it was still a good summer, I would say, for U.S. soccer, right?
For sure.
Women's soccer, I should say.
Can I just add one thing?
Of course.
So this was just, like, this past weekend, but the Hamilton Bulldogs held World Girls Ice Hockey Weekend.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. They had teams like Burlington, Oakville, Brantford, Ancaster, Hamilton, Stony Creek. Like, all the teams came out to the games. We were doing, like, 50-50. Sarah Nurse and Laura Fortino, who are two, like, big female hockey players from Hamilton, were both there as well.
That's so cool.
And, like, it was just a whole weekend just dedicated to that. So, like, to be there and, like, cover those games was really cool. And
awesome.
I remember, like, when I played hockey, too, they've been doing this for years. Like, I always remember, like, getting team tickets, and, like, we all went and stuff. And, yeah, I just think it's really cool and, like, a step to see, like, a team like that.
It's nice to see a team that's, like, not super huge, you know? Like, they're
that's
big
what I mean.
for some
like,
people. Like, they're doing that, and they, like, it's something that obviously is important to them.
For sure.
And that I think it's even bigger for them doing that at that level, because that's the level that girls get into sports. You know, like,
and, like,
that's going to make a difference.
It's also, like, younger guys. So, like, you know, it's not professional sports yet, but it's, like, you know, the age is 16 to 21.
Yeah.
So, like,
not
it's
only
kind
are
of
you
like
teaching the girls, you're teaching the
you're
guys.
teaching the guys too. Yeah.
All right.
So I just thought that was really cool. I thought I could say something about that.
No, that is a good point.
So, do we want to give the people a little touch on what we're going to talk about this season? What we want to focus on? Go for it.
So, people, of the Girls Got Game community. If you are new to our show, thank you for listening today. And if you are coming back for our awesome second season, let's talk about some things that you can expect. Because, yes, we are known for having our technical difficulties, but
I promise we'll know when we're live next week.
Oh, 100%. You will hear us right off the bat. You can look forward to some great, music.
Yeah,
Some
we're
some
gonna try
good sound effects. But more importantly, we want to talk about more controversial issues, dive into more than just the surface information of like this is going on in women in sport. We want to talk about gender equity. We want to get to the root of these topics, what inspired these women, how this affects women, how this affects change.
Well said.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
that's what we're about
digging
here.
deep.
So if that interests you or your friends, tune in for that. We would love to have you guys listen to that and also participate. We're looking this year to have a little bit more participation in our show. So get in contact with us. Our Instagram, Girls Got Game
Radio.
Girls Got Game Radio. Yep, don't confuse us with anyone else. We are the one and only. We've got our Twitter account. You can get that from our Instagram. And yeah, interact with us, guys. We really want to hear what you guys want to hear. We want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. And we're going to try and bring in more guests this season.
Yeah.
Because we're in Toronto. Like, we're in
many
the city of
opportunities, yeah.
Bianca Andreescu. So
Let's get Bianca. Let's
yeah,
get back.
Bianca
hell
in
yeah. Bianca,
God,
if you're out there, come on down to
If you're
Ellen Slate.
listening,
Yeah.
or if you're one of our 15 viewers,
Yeah, that's right.
Hit
Hopefully,
us up.
16 by next week. We're getting up there. So, yeah, thanks for listening and stay tuned for season 2. We've got a lot in store for you. Thanks, guys.
it's gonna be a good time.